Okay, this is the first instructional video on how to remove broken studs from cylinder heads. This technique will work on both cast iron and aluminum heads. Basically, this is one of the worst studs I've had to do on this set of cylinder heads. This is a LS cylinder head off a 6-liter motor, and I've removed 4 broken studs. Here is the first one that I removed, and then I had some other ones that were actually standing proud of the deck surface, and I was able to get these removed as well. Okay, just getting back here, what I did was I fired up the welder and I put a little bit of an arc, just a gentle arc, not too much heat, just to do a little surface cleaning and burn off any kind of excess grease or grime that was actually in the hole that would be hard to scrape away. I probably could have used a scraper to get some of it, but since the aluminum was so soft around it, I didn't really want to gouge much of the machine surface that's under the dirt and grime right now. So the next step here is to take a washer, at least this is the technique I'm going to use, and I'm going to put the washer right over the center of the hole here, and then I'm going to take the TIG welder and I'm going to put a nice puddle weld to get a good bond, or a decent, let's just say decent bond, between the, let's see if we get this to focus here, get a decent bond between the bolt, or the remaining portion of the bolt, and the washer itself. So back in a moment. Okay, you can see there's actually a decent amount of contamination in the weld. We're not looking for the prettiest weld here. We're just looking to be able to get a good bond between the top of the remaining portion of the bolt and the washer, and I think I was able to do that. So the next step here is to take a nut. I got my handy dandy 3/8/16 nut, just something I had sitting in a drawer, and I'm going to weld the nut to the washer. So back in a moment. Okay, the bolt is still a little cherry red here and there, and it's just coming off a color. I should say the nut is. And a lot of the discoloration you see here is because I didn't spend the time to scrape off the galvanizing. If I didn't have well ventilated area, and I should probably caution anybody, you want to take the galvanizing off as much as possible to keep the weld decontaminated, and I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be breathing any kind of zinc fumes when you melt it off the galvanizing. But here we are. We've got a good amount of heat into it. We put a couple welds on it. And here is the moment of truth. We're just going to throw a 9/16 wrench on it. Put a little torque on it. And there we go. Walking its way right out. So I'm kind of doing this one-handed. But here we go. Coming right out. You can see that now, just using a glove here, not officially on my finger, just walking it out. There you go. Bolt is out. Not the prettiest job. Feel free to comment on my welding or lack of welding talent, but I just did what I needed to do to get the job done. And see if I can get a good light on here. You can see that the internal threads are not harmed. They actually came out really clean. The rest of the surface, just kind of doing this real quick because it's still a little warm, but it's actually not that hot. The beauty of the aluminum is that it wicked away a lot of the heat. And here we are. I just had red hot metal on it, and I can just sit here and put my finger on it. It's wicked away all the heat. So that's it. We just did our exhaust manifold bolt removal. The cylinder head is good to go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it up and see about rebuilding these cylinder heads. But the hard part here is to get all the bolts out, and we are successful. Have a good night. Just a little follow-up here. It was a little hard to see exactly how clean things came out, so all I did was just took a handy-dandy sponge with a little Scotch-Brite pad on it and did a quick cleanup of the surface so it shined up a little bit and you got any of the crap that came off from welding, plus all the grease that was on there. Obviously there's still more cleaning to go, but I wanted to get a little more detail, see if we can get some more light on the threads here and show. The only other thing I've done so far is I just took another M8 fastener I had laying on the bench. I just want to demonstrate that the internal threads are not damaged. Just they thread down very nicely. It's bottomed out in the hole of the thread, or the tapped hole. This walks right out. here is, now that it's cool, try to get this into the shot. This is the bolt that came out, and you can see that the threads are not damaged, they're not galled. There's no aluminum transfer into the the notches of the threads or the valleys of the threads themselves, and we don't really have any damage here. So works really well on aluminum. I've actually done this on cast iron.